Hey people, in that last movie I showed you where I found this page of this old first chapter of the book of John, and I showed how it had some spelling differences, and sometimes it replaced the words, sometimes it would spell it out, and sometimes it would just have a symbol for the same word. And throughout here I've seen some different spellings on several words and several differences, and that's why I don't study the New Testament so much, because it has a lot of differences. You see here on the word for ton, sometimes they'll spell it out, the T-O-N, sometimes they use the symbol. And here's a big difference where in this line 18 starts with theon, the light, the God. And after this, the monogenes, the single type, and theos, they say is God. And in this copy, you can see an O before the monogenes, the single genes. And then this word's changed to MOS instead of theos. And you see the little mark above it. It's the same way as the one above this O. So this one's opposite. This apostrophe is like apostrophe here. Here it's backwards. And so this reads M-O-S-O-M. And so it's of a monogenes, of single genes. Not the only begotten, but one parent. Or one type. Monogenes, one type of the single type, and then MOS, from OSOM, from awesome, the one great type, the one type of greatness. And so theos is just greatness here. Theon is the light, theos is the greatness of the on, O, of, N-O-N, of, from awesome, of on, this is E-S-I-S, this is. But if you look in this Berean Bible, you'll see it here, theos, and it has a little mark beside it, letting you know that there was a difference. So they knew there was a difference there. And we go down to the bottom. It'll show that in the Byzantine and this other Bible, I don't know which one this is, Popot o monogenes Vios. This is the one they'll say is son. And in this Berean majority text, we can see that there's Popot o monogenes Vios. So it's V-I-O-S here with the mark, so it's reading V-I-O-S-O-I. Vio means to go say. So it's different in these three Bibles. One's Vios, one's Mos, and one's Theos. That's the only thing consistent is the OS in there. But this is what it's talking about. This is Theon, this is the light, and this is Rahu and Ketu, and it's telling us Ketu is the Alpha Omega. Ketu is it's a moving constellation. It's not a constellation. It's the place that doesn't have a marker. When the moon is full and the sun is in Rahu, meaning the sun's at the equator, and you have a full moon, it means the start of the new cycle. It means that's the spot of Ketu, the spot of the owl, the spot of Alpha Omega, Asia Atus, which would be on the opposite side of the sun, when it's full. Every time you start a new cycle at the rat, at the full moon, that's the spot of Ketu. And so the Theon is the light, and the Theos is actually from awesome, from the greatness. And I hate to touch words that say, there's so many words that say they mean God, and that's what really offends people. They would never change words that meant God. But yeah, you have to open your mind up to every word. I was kind of stuck with that Jehovah as you for a long time. I could see it wasn't Jehovah. But yeah, that hurt a lot of people's feelings when they find out that that doesn't mean God. And so it seems like most of this book is written where only the geniuses can figure it out. You know, it's not too hard to find out where Rahu is. You have to just shoot some stars and do a little math. In order to find Ketu, you have to do some more math into the time. You know, it's got to be at the right time. You can find Rahu every year, but you can only find Ketu when the moon is full, when the sun is in Rahu. So this could be, you know, from a single gene, the Theo, the God, S-O-O, and soon on. From the single type Theo, soon on, this is. And here it's of a single type from as a moon, M-O-O-N-O-N. As a moon on, this is. Ton, fashion. And this one's of a monogenous, of a single type, Vyast, goes how of non, this is, not this is on. And so the three Bibles, they say something different. And so this is probably where your word anonymous, you know, if you look at that backwards, the mark, you know, O-N-O-N, anon, anonymous, you know, and the one being, you know, the anonymous is the one being that wasn't named, you know, from awesome of on this is, the greatness on this is, you know, the anonymous author, the greatness withheld his name. And so in this other, I think it's the Byzantine Bible, it shows how at line 21, then it goes into this questioning. And I wish this Bible had went this far, but this is 18, and this is line 19, I believe. Here starts with the key. Line 19 starting with the key. And you can see they have other symbols here for a T-O-U is here, and it's actually T-O-W-O, the Toa. It means the one dragon, the tower, and the Kenos, and you can see the symbol change for this OS here, NOS. And so it definitely makes me think there's more to it. And then you see this little degree symbol often in places here by the theon, the key. And it's scattered out just in certain places. It's not at every start a word. It's not certain words. It's just scattered different places. I know it has a meaning, and most likely a degree. Most likely let me know that's a number. But I wish that this had gone on farther here. It stops right here at the beginning of 19. And then at 21 you can see in this Byzantine Bible how it separates. And here in this interpretation they'll just blend all this together. So I was wanting to get down here to this Messiah, which is translated as Christ. But I thought it would be out of context if I didn't start here in 17 where it first comes up. And so what this is, you know, this mark has read this O-T and then backwards I-T-O, at Ito Anomas die. Moses is what they say this is, but you see it spelled mouses, M-O-U-S-E-O-S, the mouse as, and then Itod, death. At Itu means uncle. You know, either direction you read it from, Tito is uncle. You know, coming from the T-O or E2, made it to Tagalog Tito. It's because some people knew which direction to read and some people didn't. But they knew the word meant uncle. You know, the uncle, and then Nomus. Anomus, like anonymous, you know, a no name, anonymous. Anonymous is the name part of there. You know, the on is without, and the anima is the name. Anonymous, no anonymous, no name. And it came out to anonymous. On, without, anoma, a name. And so it's not anonymous, it's just anonymous. And so it's at uncle's name as through Moses, or Moses has, Moses, or the mouse has. And like I said, this in two different ways. The mouse is Aries. The Hebrew word for Moses, just the mush, is Aries in the Vedic astrology. The mouse is Aries in the Chinese astrology. It says Aries every which way. If you look at all the old photos, Moses has got horns. He is Aries. And so the uncle name through of Moses, and then Hatod. Toad means it came to mean beginning in alchemy. The toad is what you begin with. All the stuff, the water, the herbs, whatever you're beginning with is your toad. And that's what you're going to extract something out of. The toad. And then doth is the knowledge. To know the beginning is what that says. It toad, doth. Doth is here spelled in Hebrew just the D-O-T. But it's the knowledge. Here, doth and knowledge. They know a whole bunch about all these others. They have a lot of writings. But doth here, it's all they know is it means knowledge. That's the one thing they do know, is doth means knowledge, mind through, head, the lingam, the oni. A meaning of putrefaction, the decaying mass. That's how you start when you're brewing some beer. You put the corn and sugar and yeast in and let it decay. If you're going to make some whiskey, the same thing. You let it all decay first, and then you just distill out the spirits. It's slowly pulsating and shifting as the gases were given off. And the simple meaning of it just means to add. It's where you add everything, that create the spirits you're distilling. Everything goes in to add. Add sugar, water, and corn. You don't add anything later. Then you're just extracting, but it's the beginning. And so the uncle's name through Moses, as it told, the knowledge, as the beginning knowledge. So before you understand any of this, you're going to have to understand the beginning knowledge of Moses, is the name of his uncle. So who is the uncle of Moses? Moses' parents were Amram and Jochebed. And Amram took for himself Jochebed, his father's sister, as a wife. And that would be his aunt. And she bore him Aaron and Moses. So Moses' father is also his mama's nephew. So that would make Moses' father his cousin. So if you don't understand none of these are people. Let's talk about astrology. Your mind's really freaking out right now. But no, none of these are people. This is all astrology. The toad of knowledge, the first knowledge, the beginning knowledge. You gotta understand that it's astrology. So if Moses' dad was his cousin, that means all of Moses' dad's brothers, which would usually be your uncles, were also cousins. So, the name of the uncle of Moses is cousin. And so that's the beginning knowledge. The toad doth, the beginning knowledge, is cousin. And so all this here is just to make your mind work. If you didn't know the story, you would have to go back and read it to figure out that it could just wrote cousin here, but that would be too easy. And how we know this is cousin is because his dad had 3 brothers. So one name would cover all 3 of them, cousin. So, Tito Anomus die Moses, as whose O-S-E, as whose toad knowledge. He, right here, he He cherish, which, W-C-H. He cherish which age, A-J-E-T-E-L, the age tell. If you saw that last movie, you seen sometimes this meant not the truth when it ends with the end. They change the end of it up. He cherish which age tell. All it they know. All it they knowledge through. Voosh, hitches of. Voosh, hitch, su, you. Voosh, hitch you. And then the little line here has you read the O again. S-O-U they say is you all the way through the Greek Bible. The line has you read the O twice. And so it's V-O-O-S and then hitch, H-I-C-H. The voosh, hitch, you. A cries to. A tinge, a genet to. To generate a stain. A tinge. And so he cherish which age, back in the day. Remember back in the day when they tell all it they know. Knowledge, they knowledge through. V-O-O-S, voos. And so voos is immoral, rotten, corrupt, evil. Back in the day when you and your cousin would tell all the evil and immoral, the hitch, the connected, H-I-H, the hitches you, cries to, the X-R-I, your enemy, the death, the hitches you to death to, I'll keep your secret to death. I'll never tell anybody. You and your cousin, the age you cherish, which the age that tell all, if they know, through the voosh, through the evil, corrupt and rotten and immoral, the hitches, H-I-H-S, the hitches you, till death, to the enemy is it, to the cries it of. And then to see, a tinge, a stain, a generate. So what this says is Moses was an incest baby and Jesus was no angel. The words right here, mono, a single gene. It's when your mother and father were twins, you only got a single set of genes there. So my program's loading up. It's getting pretty slow here, and I'm gonna shoot on down here and hit some of these interpretations, as they call it, as he's translating the meanings of the names, and the Messiah, which is translated, and Simon, the son of John, you will now be called Cephas, which means Petros, in the next movie.
Don't forget, hooty hoot, I won't forget.
Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.